Hey everyone, welcome back to the Simple Life of Natalie Jo. I know it's been a minute, I've been kind of busy decluttering and stuff and thinking about things, life, I don't know. I did get some new glasses. You might not be able to tell, but they're like a bluish with some, I don't know, some details. But there you go. But today I came up with a list. It's probably a similar list that other people have. Of things or places to declutter in 5 minutes or less. Simple, easy peasy places that if you don't have a whole lot of time, it won't take you too long. 5 minutes-ish. Depending on how long you got, you could do a bunch of these in like 10 minutes-ish. Well, here we go. The first one is your medicine cabinet in the bathroom. Look for expired over-the-counter medications, empty packaging, stuff you're not using, stuff like that. And then the next one is one, and then I put maybe 2 shelves in your pantry. Depending on what size your pantry is or what you got going on in there. Looking for expired food items, things you're not using, empty stuff like that. Now, I do want to mention, with the pantry and food items, there is a difference between a best by date, a sell by date, and an expire date. Expire date, you might not want to keep. Best by date, they're usually good for a certain amount of time after that sell by date. It's just when the stores have to sell it by. And then the best by date is, you should probably use it or consume it before that date, but it's not going to be harmful to you if you eat it after that date. Just like the freshness or the taste might be a little maybe not the taste, but the quality, the freshness might not be as bold as it was before. But just keep that in mind. If you're okay with eating, a lot of those pantry stuff is good, past that best by date. So if you're comfortable eating it after that, that's fine. If you're not, but you also have to think if it sat in your shelf expired, because a lot of those times if you're buying it from the store, those best by dates are at least 6 months to a year out, if not longer. If you're not eating it, why keep it? So whatever you think, do whatever you think works for you in your household, whatever your household looks like. The next one is a shelf or 2 in your linen closet. Again, how many towels do you need? How many people are in your family? How many times you have guests stay over? Stuff like that. What condition are your towels in? Stuff like that. How many sheets or pillowcases? I don't know what you keep in your linen closet. Over-the-counter medicine. I don't know. Shampoo, conditioner, all that jazz. Just keep it organized and keep it looking nice and stuff. But I did want to mention that that the other day I did find a bottle of shampoo in my bedroom that was in a box that was kind of under my bed and half under my bed and half wasn't. I bought that shampoo like a year ago, so there's a reason why decluttering and organizing it is important, because I didn't realize I still had that shampoo. I thought I use up all that kind. So, just make sure you're going through things, looking for things, keeping up with things, because it could be like me and didn't realize you had a bottle of shampoo when you did, and you didn't need to buy it. A bookshelf, again, depending on how many bookshelves or how big the bookshelf is, it could take you less time. The questions you might want to think about, or what you're wanting to look at, is what books do you have? Have you read them before? What are the chances of you reading them again? Are you planning on reading them? Was it an impulse buy? Stuff like that. On top of the dryer, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I do have, a pack of dryer sheets, laundry detergent, some other things on the dryer. Do they all need to be there? Are they empty things? Do you, stuff like that? Is stuff you're just not using, things you need to put away, stuff like that. Because I don't know what kind of house or place you're living in, or even if you have a dryer, because I know some apartment complexes have like a separate laundry room and don't have in-unit laundry, which is fine. But if this doesn't pertain to you, that's fine. But I know for me, in the house we live in, our washer and dryer is down in the basement. So I feel like sometimes it's just, if I need to bring something down to the basement, it's just sometimes where it just lands. It just, kind of sits and lands until I realize I need to put it away. So just, I feel like there's probably a few places in people's houses, if you're anything like that, like me, that just sometimes, the places where you just set things when you get in, come home from the store, or trying to put things away, or be like, okay, I'm gonna set this here because it belongs down in the basement or wherever, until you put it away. Yeah, but like I said, just keep that in mind, because sometimes I do struggle with this all the time, especially with this next one. Around the doorway entryway, where you set things down when you come back from the store or out doing errands or stuff like that, or where you set your mail before you go through it, stuff like that. I'm guilty of this all the time. I set things by the door and be like, okay, I need to sit down for a few minutes, and then I'll get back to it. And then sometimes things just sit there. I'm guilty of this. I'm sure other people are guilty of this. I'm not sure about you guys. It could be you guys. It could not be. I mean, some people are better at cleaning and organizing than others. And I feel like this is something I struggle with. So I'm trying to reduce the number of items in my house so it's easier for me to manage. The dining room table also, I feel like that's where junk mail sits and accumulates, other thing accumulates, dishes, whatever. Around your computer desktop, like your desktop computer or desk, or if you have like an office or a place where you have like a computer, like a desktop computer, sometimes you bring a drink in there, you finish up, you just kind of leave it there, you leave, food trash or wrapper, stuff like that, random fork, random dish, stuff like that. One shelf in your closet, I mean, this could go back to a linen closet, or your closet in your bedroom, like a random closet that might be like a coat closet, or a closet in your basement, or another place that has like games or something. It's okay to do one shelf at a time. 2 shelves, whatever you're thinking, whatever you have the energy for. Clothes in your closet, it doesn't take too long, at least for me, because I don't have a lot of clothes. But, you could even break this up if you wanted to. Go through your closet periodically. Just kind of look at what you have, what doesn't fit, what you is like maybe stained or doesn't fit. You haven't worn in a while, you don't like anymore, things like that. Clothes in a dresser drawer. I mean, you could do 1 dresser drawer, 2, depending on how big your dresser is. Again, things that are worn out, haven't used, maybe some socks that, don't fit right or you don't like because of whatever reason. I do have coffee table, again, place where, at least in my house, things accumulate, you set down. Cup, empty can of pop, empty bottle of beverage, whatever. Things like that. Forks, whatever. old batteries, you name it. Like I said, that coffee table shouldn't take you too long. So whatever you think. The other thing I thought of that I didn't put in there is your car. You know, sometimes you leave trash in there. Sometimes, if you're anything like me, you know, I live in Ohio. In this fall and spring, sometimes you leave your house to go to the store, do some errands, and it's kind of chilly out. But then halfway through your errands, you get hot, and you leave your sweatshirt or coat or a jacket in your car, and then that's kind of where it stays. So things like that, you know, trash. Sometimes I do leave cat litter in my car because it's heavy. My boyfriend knows where it is, so he can, if he needs to run out to my car to get cat litter to do the cat litter, he can just grab it. You know, things that just kind of maybe, oh, I'll get that later. I'll get that next time I go outside. And then it kind of just lives there for a while. But yeah, so there's some things that you can, things and places, if I can talk, to declutter in 5 minutes or less. A lot of these things may not take you 5 minutes, but then if I feel like sometimes if you start, you get on a roll and then you lose track of time and then you get a bunch of stuff done. But I've heard this before, and I'm not sure who said it or where I read it, probably on Facebook or something, but 1% or like is better than 0%. So if you're making progress with that 1% or that 0.5%, that's better than 0. You're making progress, getting rid of things, doing things that you've been neglecting, that, you know, this is what I'm trying to work on. 1% is better than nothing. As long as you're doing something and getting things cleaned, cleared, going through it, you know, organizing it, great. I'm happy with it. Progress is progress, no matter how fast or how slow. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you feel overwhelmed at times, progress is progress. And sometimes you just gotta keep at it. I'm trying to keep at it. So there's my spiel, you know, about progress. Progress is progress, no matter how slow. All you can do is your best for the day. And if you feel like you can do more than 5 minutes, great. If you feel like you can do more than 1 or 2 shelves, great. If you can only do one expired food item from your cabinet, great. It's better than it just sitting there. So I hope this helps you out. If you have any other places that I may have forgotten that you can declutter real fast, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, something really quick, you know, there's always that one, if you leave a room, full hands in, full hands out. So if you are going to the kitchen from the living room, take a dish, take something with you, trash. So like I said, progress is progress. So I hope you have a great week, guys. And like I said, if you have any other ideas of where to declutter within 5 minutes or so, leave them in the comments.